I bet you would believe me if I told you there is indeed a correlation between relationship building and trust, especially when the long-term goal is to form a mutually beneficial and sustainable partnership. Getting into shape is certainly a personal commitment to oneself, and if you involve a personal trainer in such a process, arriving at a mutually agreed upon understanding to accomplish progress and prosperity is often a must. And according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the personal training industry will experience a 15% growth between 2019 and 2029, which is equivalent to adding an estimated 57,600 new trainers within the next decade. The Bureau also estimates that approximately 12.5% of gym goers will utilize the services of a personal trainer, a fitness trainer, or an instructor, which is an increase of demand by a clip of 44% in the last 10 years. This would be welcome news to the ears of my friend Bret Huotari, who has been a personal trainer for a decade and a half now. He's the co-host of the Health or High Water podcast and the co-owner of Ascend Personal Training. He specializes in movement of our bodies and how they're supposed to move to get the most optimal results out of our health. Huotari brings an interesting perspective to the world of fitness, how we should perceive it in the 21st century, and he places an increased importance on the way we move and how it affects every aspect of our lives. He's also been on the management side of this business, which gives him a unique bird's eye view on how the industry has evolved, where it's going, where it's been, and how to stabilize yourself to follow your passion within this industry to live a comfortable and rewarding life. I know I had a great time chatting with Huotari, and I'm excited to share our conversation with all of you right about now. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Bret, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program. And I'm super excited to learn all about the good work that you do to make our little world a healthier place, my friend. Great to see you today, and thank you for a few minutes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bret, I'm just curious to start our conversation with sort of a off the beaten path question. So, if I gave you $1 million and I said you could spend it on anything you wanted to improve the nation's health, I'm curious, how would you spend the money and why?
$1 million. Ooh, okay. Well, $1 million today doesn't go quite as far as it did 10 years ago.
Fair enough.
But I'm sure there's a lot of impact. Honestly, if you gave me $1 million, I would start a bigger location. So I already have my own location to train people at and serve them at. I would invest that $1 million into a facility, a state-of-the-art facility, and to hire the best professionals in all the different areas. So, the company that we have, we focus on a lot of different areas of health and wellness, from physical activity to nutrition to sleep, stress. So with that $1 million, I think what I would do is I'd probably go out and I would get the absolute best people in all the industries so that we could create the best health facility physically possible for people, to impact as many people as we could.
Yeah, and just following up on that, Brett, I'm curious to also ask you about your definition of fitness prosperity, and what do you think we need to do for everyone to realize the benefits of optimizing their health and really taking advantage of life?
Yeah, so our physical, that's a really, really great question. So our physical health is a byproduct of our mental health. I've been a personal trainer I've been in the industry for about 14, 15 years now. And the the biggest thing about our physical improvement and performance, it all stems from our mental health. So really, we just have to focus deep on how we can improve our mental health, strengthen our community bonds, and help each other develop purpose. And then we can start to dig into some of the physical aspects as far as like personal training and injury recovery and all those things.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Brett, you've been a personal trainer for about a decade and a half now, and you also have a certification through the Red Cross. So I'm curious to ask you, my friend, what do you attribute your passion for the work that you do to? And I know that you've also or you've been a fitness general manager for a boutique fitness operation as well. So, what drives the passion for the work that you do, my friend?
Yeah, so I studied business management in college, and early on, I knew I did not want to get stuck behind a desk. That did not interest me one bit, is sitting behind a desk and moving decimal points. I like to talk to people. That's just my personality. Is I like to talk and socialize. And so I got certified in personal training because I liked lifting weights originally, and that grew over time. And so as I started personal training, I fell in love with basically seeing people change their life and their performance, and to be part of that progress was amazing for me to see that transformation. And so that's where I developed a lot of that passion from.
Yeah, and I don't have to tell you, the fitness industry, my friend, is all about building relationships. So, what do you think the key is to building relationships in the fitness industry so that people can trust you when you work for them or with them?
Yeah, so really it's just about being authentic. I think you just have to be genuine in what you're doing and your desire to make a difference. I think people see through that intentions, and right now it's more important than ever than to have a mission. Really have your mission and your story, and people really feel that, and then they feel that energy and they want to be a part of that. So.
Yeah, and Brett, I also wanted to ask you about when you work with people. I'm curious, what fascinates you the most when it comes to studying human behavior and the way people react to fitness? Because fitness journeys are different for everybody. So tell me, what fascinates you the most with working with a wide variety of people?
Yeah, yeah, no, super good question. Everybody has a different story, right? We all have our own struggles, whether it's recovering from addiction, or maybe we're dealing with a mental illness, or maybe a physical illness. So we're all coming from a different perspective on why we're using fitness. But fitness is the vehicle in which that we can change everything. So it's a way for us to improve our physical performance and our bodies and our aesthetics, But really, it's a way and a chance for us to address these difficult challenges that we each individually have in life. And that's kind of what fascinates me, is how broad this category is. It's not one specific thing. In order to be a great wellness practitioner, you have to come at it from so many different angles. And so for me, there's no end to learning. I'm always a student of this game. I love learning. I love the opportunity to continue to become better. I've been in this industry since I've been out of college, and I will never get out of it. I love it. And this will always be a part of my life, though I know it'll change over time. I'm just following my passion and following my interests.
Yeah, so what are you most fascinated to continue to learn about, my friend?
Yeah, right now, addiction recovery. So that goes through not only drug addiction, but food addiction, nicotine addiction, alcoholism. Addiction is any pathological relationship we have with a mind-altering experience that has life-damaging consequences, right? So it could be anything. I'm fascinated by how we can actually recover from these obsessive behaviors and then find meaning in our life, and really be, a force in the community for good.
Yeah, and Brett, I firmly believe that when we talk about fitness and moving the needle forward in that respect, I really believe it's a personal accountability for yourself and really putting your own emphasis on your own personal fitness, because it's important for people to make fitness a priority if they want to extend their lives, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, they gotta find a way to make it a priority. I find, as a personal trainer, I find people a lot of times say they don't have time to exercise, right? How many times have you heard that, where somebody says, I just don't have time in the day? And that doesn't make sense, because your mental health and your physical health are what give you the opportunities to make an impact in your community. So that really doesn't make sense. So we all have to make time, in whatever capacity, to better our mental health and our physical health.
Yeah, I'll give you a great example. So, Brett, I don't know how much research you did on me, buddy, but I was born with what's called spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy. Simply means that I don't have enough oxygen to walk normally. So I was actually told, buddy, at the age of 9 that I wouldn't be able to walk for the duration of my life because of the severity of my disability. But one of the mantras, I guess, that I live my life by is always active. So I always try to challenge myself to be at least 10 minutes active every day, no matter how busy my schedule gets. So tell me about how practical it is to stay active if we're really committed to it, because it can't be done if we're committed to it, can it?
Yeah. So no, your story. I did read about your story, and that's part of the reason why I was excited for this is because you've done some incredible stuff, and just reading about it and seeing the podcast and all the great information you've put out, it was inspiring, right? And yeah, you have to find that 10 minutes a day, right? It doesn't have to be an extraordinary amount of time, but as well as I do, that if you have a vision and you have a goal, you got to break it down into steps. And so, that 10 minutes a day may turn into 15, may turn into 20. And that's how we get closer to our goals, is just small incremental change.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving forward, Brett, I'm curious to ask you, if I was to pose the question to you, as what do you think your most impactful moment in your life has been to date? What would you say has been your most impactful moment in your life to this point in your journey, Bonnie?
No, that's a good question. Most impactful. Honestly, I don't mean to cop out on the answer. I've had so many impactful moments. I would say the biggest impactful moments are when I see people I'm working with make huge strides, or where they recognize the accomplishments that they have achieved. That's huge for me. For me, those are impactful moments. And then personally, for me, it's when I accomplish a goal. One of them was, I had an early goal when I was early on in high school about, being in wrestling, being a most valuable wrestler. And I remember winning that, working hard for many years and winning an award, and just the feeling it gave me of accomplishment. Starting my music business was a huge accomplishment for me, and seeing that grow. And then starting this business was an enormous, impactful moment for me. So really, there's just been a lot of them along the journey of this, and each one of them is significant to me, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, and Brad, I didn't realize that you were into music, buddy. So tell me, what are some of your most passionate sort of connections to music, and why do you love it so much?
Yeah, no, so I started playing music at my sister's wedding about, gosh, it was 15 years ago. And then her friend asked me if I could perform her wedding, and she asked me what I would charge. And I was like, I don't know, charge $30? I didn't know. That was what started my music career. And then since then, I've performed for Amstel Light. I've performed for the Milwaukee Bucks, the Milwaukee Zoo. I was the very first person to perform at the Pfizer Forum for the grand opening VIP party for the Milwaukee Bucks' new arena. I've performed across the country, and I put a band together. I've had 3 or 4 bands, and I still play today. So there's been a lot of development on that journey as well.
Yeah, and it helps you find your inner center when everything is caving in on you. I think music is a great way to ground ourselves, isn't it?
Oh gosh, music is we're so people and humans in general are so tied to music. We are music ourselves, and so the study of music. When you start to study music and you're passionate about it, you see the similarities between us and our relationships that we develop, and the harmonies we create, and the negative harmonies too, right? And the melody and the counter melody. And so everything in music is us as people. So it's a fascinating study, and I feel absolutely grateful and blessed to be part of that.
Yeah, Brett, as a personal trainer, I'm also wondering your thoughts on what frustrates you the most from a fitness perspective that people consume in terms of information. And I guess if you had a megaphone and you could stop one sort of misinformation trend in the fitness industry, what would that be and why?
So it would probably be just disingenuity. So like companies prioritizing profits over their service. So right now, I love the opportunities we've created in this country, opening a business and being self-sustainable. But I hate and I despise the prioritization of profits over service. And so you see that a lot in the fitness industry. You see a lot of companies that prioritize the numbers of it. And people are more than numbers. We're more than that. And so my goal is to focus more on what we're giving, quality of service to the customer and to our clients and to the people we work with, over how much we're making and how much money we're able to, put into our bank accounts.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that point, Brett, I firmly believe that life is about, maximizing opportunities in every aspect of our lives. So what do you think it means to maximize opportunities from a fitness perspective to really optimize the amount of attention that we place on our health?
Yeah, maximizing opportunities. The first thing I think about is just meeting people. Honestly, um, if you're set on meeting new people and you're okay with that, whether it be new trainers or new gyms or new groups or whatever it is, maximizing opportunities is about networking with other people. There are amazing people out there that have so much knowledge that you don't have and that I don't have and that we all have. So really maximizing your opportunities is about forming better connections with people in the community, especially in the fitness community. And from that, we learn and we can share ideas. And that's really the biggest thing, I think.
Beth, there's a sign in my office that says life is a constant game of networking, isn't it?
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Anyway, it's the lifeblood of being an entrepreneur, isn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brett, I know that you've been an entrepreneur for a very long time, my friend. So I'm fascinated to get your perspective on what it means to run a sustainable business as a fitness entrepreneur. What does that mean to you?
Repeat that question one more time. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm just wondering from a business perspective, what's the
Hmm.
key to being sort of sustainable from a business perspective when you're a fitness entrepreneur?
Hmm.
Because it can be different from regular business from time to time. So I'm wondering your thoughts on what's the key to
Yeah.
being sustainable as a fitness entrepreneur.
Yeah, so you got to follow your listen, you got to follow your passion, you know? You have to find something that makes you excited to get up in the morning. If it becomes a job, you're going to lose patience with it because it's a labor. It really is love. Like you got to put a lot of love into what you do to make it successful as an entrepreneur, and especially in the fitness industry. The fitness industry is a very hard industry to be in, right? So you have to follow your passion, and as your passions change, and your interests change, like maybe you're a shoulder specialist and now you want to work on hips or you want to get into addiction recovery. If you're passionate about it, you're going to put the energy and love into it, and it's going to show through in your work. If you're not passionate about it, people will feel that. They'll know that you don't love what you do, and they're not going to want to follow you.
Yeah, and you know, Brett, one of the side effects of my disability is that my muscles contract faster than most people because I don't have enough oxygen, right? So I wanted to ask you about making a concerted effort for movement and how important movement is from a fitness perspective because it's everything when you move, right? Because it can affect all aspects of your life and behaviors as well. So it's important to move, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Motion creates emotion, right? Um, yeah, so I'm a movement specialist. That's kind of what I specialize in is moving properly. So, understanding how our joints are supposed to move. And then there's just movement in general is getting out there and moving throughout the day for sure. So our bodies were designed to move and to have all these abilities. And so when we sit on the couch for an extended period of time, or we're sitting down and we're not, and that's our weekly habit, we're telling our body that, hey, this is my lifestyle, right? And that's not what we want. We want to create movement. We want to create emotion. We want to create opportunities. So really my specialty is finding out how to move and then structuring the movement and moving better. So it's a two-part thing.
Yeah, and tell me about being in great shape and how it can really impact our level of energy and enthusiasm to contribute to the rest of the world. Because if you're in great shape, you'll have more energy to accomplish. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of that's a really good question you're at. I mean, first of all these questions are so good. That's a really good question because how many people do you know, right, that think that getting in great shape is the answer to all their problems, right? So it is, but what we find is that when you really feel strong about your body, right? It's not being looking at it and being and going, oh, I look great. It's about the discipline you develop, right? That's where the happiness comes in, and the discipline that you develop from this. So the biggest thing about being in shape is all the qualities along the way: discipline, hard work, work ethic, consistency. Those are what you get from being in great shape.
Yeah, and you know, Brad, I know that you're an adventure seeker and you're a sports enthusiast too, my friend. So I'm
Yeah.
fascinated to ask you, as an old sports reporter because I originally went to school to become a sports reporter. And how do you define adventure, my friend? And why do you love sports so much?
I love the competition. I didn't know you were a sportscaster. That's awesome. That's really cool. I love competition. I think competition, when it's done correctly, is one of the best things the world could have. When it's done correctly, so competing against yourself even, and your own performance as well. So adventure really is just taking on a challenge and accomplishing that goal, whether it be a long hike or starting a business or learning an instrument, whatever it is. That's accomplishment, and that's so tied to our physiology of our body, about accomplishing things in general. So that's why I'm passionate about it. It keeps our brain healthy and young.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think if you're in great shape, it can also provide you a competitive advantage in life. Would you agree with that?
100%, absolutely. Yeah, if you're in great shape, you got the confidence to tackle life's problems. You have the discipline, the self-worth. You have the consistency. You're eating correctly. You're just forming great habits, and so you have a leg up on every single person out there if you're in great shape.
Yeah, and as we end our conversation today, my friend, I'm curious to ask you two more questions. And the first is, when you're by yourself or within a group of friends or family, how do you define prosperity and joy in life?
Man, these are such great questions. So prosperity and joy for me is the ability to be 100% present in the moment. We spend a lot of our lives thinking about the future with goals and aspirations and sometimes anxiety. And we spend a lot of our time in the past with depression and regretfulness and grief and all those things. So really prosperity is defined by the ability to be completely present in the moment and the ability to show and receive love.
Yeah, and my final question this afternoon, Brett, has to do with your own personal and professional legacy and how you want your legacy to be defined.
Yeah, so I'd like my legacy to be defined as my impact and my mission. I want to focus less on myself, and I want to always focus on other people and helping them achieve their mission and their goal. I think that's the greatest way that I could ever be remembered is that, hey, he helped me achieve this. That's how I find my self-worth. And then that's how we pass the buck along down the road. And that's how we spread all great awareness in our communities. So hopefully I can see that mission through.
Yeah, life is about paying it forward, isn't it?
It is 100%, my friend.
Absolutely. And Brad, finally, tell me if people want to get connected with the good work that you do, my friend. What's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, so again, Bret Huotari. My business is called Ascend Performance Training. You can find me on ascendperformancetraining.com. All my information is on there, and we're on all the social media platforms at Ascend Performance Training. Or you can listen to our podcast on Health or High Water for all your fitness content.
Yeah, well, tell me about the podcast just before we get out of here, my friend. What is it all about? And if people tune into it, what can they expect to hear or listen to, my friend?
So our mission here is to interview and get connected with the best health professionals in the industry, from doctors to life coaches to naturopaths to physiotherapists, you name it, all the best of the best. We want to bring them on the podcast, and we want to have engaging, tough discussions about industry trends, about follies in the industry, about the best practices. So really, we're just trying to bring the best health content possible to the listeners.
Well, fabulous, my friend. I want to thank you for dedicating your life to making sure that we all optimize our health and fitness potential. Your work in the space and time on my behalf this afternoon is most appreciated, and I want to thank you for engaging in conversation and answering my questions. It's most appreciated, my friend.
Thank you so much. An absolute pleasure. I'm glad to be on here.